Welcome back to the final segment of the Jeff Crilley Show. We're talking about a subject that I think everybody is in search of. It's the state of being happy. And with us is an expert in that field. Nancy Cramer is my guest. Welcome to the Jeff Crilley Show.
Thank you, Jeff. I'm so glad to be here.
Okay, so tell us your background. How do you get to be a happy expert?
Well, it's been a very interesting journey. When I left IBM, I went to work for one of the top professional speakers in the country. And his name was Joe Charbonneau. And I was his vice president of sales, but I also was his understudy. And so now actually the National Speakers Association has a Joe Charbonneau School of Speaking, but I was the only one to be personally trained by Joe.
Wow.
And one of the parts of my job was to do reconnaissance for him and find out what the competition was up to. If he walked into a room to hear a speaker, they would recognize him and know who he was. The gig would be up, first off, and second off, that would change the way that person spoke. So he would send me. He'd say, go find out what Zig's doing. Go find out what Ed's doing. Go find out what Jeannie's doing. So I'd show up and be the undercover person in the audience and report back. And one of the things that Joe said is, everybody is always saying the same thing. They're all saying stuff that's been in the Bible. They're just repackaging it. And, very good speakers, very entertaining, wonderful people to listen to. But he was actually right. There was a lot of things that were being said the same way. And that is what we need to do and why we need to do things. It wasn't until I went to hear Dr. Richard Bandler speak that I was blown away. Because Dr. Bandler was not talking about what to do or why to do it, but how to do it. And he has very specific techniques on how to do the things that we need to do to be successful, healthy, wealthy, and wise, as well as to how to be happy.
One of my earlier guests talked about a family in Kenya where they had 2 buckets on the floor, and here we just have so much. Can money buy you happiness?
That's a really interesting question. Can money buy you happiness? It can, if that's what you want. The point is to find out what you really want. And a lot of people will chase something like money, thinking it's going to buy them happiness, and then when they have it, they didn't really think through what that meant, what it was going to mean to have a lot of money. And one of the things that happens when someone has a lot of money is that means they have a lot to say grace over. They have a lot of things to protect and to take care of. And then also they may have a lot of people who are hanging on and wanting something from them. So when I work with a client, and look, I coach people for a living. So, when I ask people what they want, I always get different answers. The answers are different for everyone. Right? For some people, being wealthy is absolutely the answer. That's absolutely what they want. For other people, that's not going to bring them happiness. And I can think of several examples of people that's the case. But what's important is for those people to define exactly what it is they want. What will it look like when they get it?
Right.
What will it sound like when they have it? What will it feel like? And I was just working with a client this morning, and this is an executive with a $57 trillion bank. And when I said, what do you want? The answer I got was, well, I can tell you what I don't want. Well, people are crazy that way. They can tell you what they don't want, but they can't tell you what they do want. And they haven't thought that through. So as a good coach, my job is to help them in that process. There's lots of different answers on what people want to be happy. There's one process to get there. And so that's what I do, is I ask those really good questions and then get them to answer it. I mean, one of the things that Dr. Bandler says is change the way you think, and it will change the way you feel. And then that will then change what you're capable of doing and accomplishing. And so that's what a good coach does, is helps people change the way they think by asking those really solid questions. And I'd like to leave your listeners with at least one thing that they can do for themselves going forward from
Please.
today.
Yeah.
And that is answer the question, what do you want? Not what do you not want, what do you want? And what will having that do for you? Really seriously, what will having that do for you? And then what will having that do for you? And what's it going to look like and feel like? What's it really going to be like? And then there's also the idea of modeling. Go, if that's what you think you really want, go out and find somebody else who already has it and ask them, what's your day like? What is it that you do? What do you wish you could change about your life? And see if that's something that you really want to accept. So, for example, with the idea of, do you want to be rich, famous and rich and famous, right? That's what they all say. I want to be rich and famous. Well, that's a great idea, but W.C. Fields told us, if you want to be rich and famous, try rich first and see if that will do, because famous may not be what it's all cracked up to be. Well, the same thing with rich. So it's a matter of deciding what it will be for you and what will bring you happiness. Right. The other thing is that we tend to think of happiness as a place we're going to get to someday, and actually, it's not about happiness and reaching happiness. It's an adverb. It's being happy. People do things happily. People go through their day with a happy attitude, and it's much more about that than it is about a destination that you're going to reach.
Do you think we all have trouble being present, that we're either living in the past about the good old days, or I'm going to be happy when? So we're never quite enjoying the beautiful, miracles that happen before our eyes every single day.
Absolutely. If someone is depressed, it's because they're living in the past. If someone's anxious, it's they're living in the future. The point is to live today. And people have a hard time doing that. I was working with a client yesterday, and I said, okay, so when you're in this meeting, tell me, I don't want to know all the details about the meeting that you had this conflict in, but I want you to just tell me, what did you see? What did you hear? What did you feel? And the report back I got from my client was, well, I see a woman who is having this. It's like, wait, no, I want to hear it from what's inside your body. What did you see through your eyes? What did you hear in your ears? And how did you feel in your gut? It took us 15 minutes to get this client to the point where the experience was her there in the moment. And so a lot of us live outside of ourselves, and we're over there somewhere instead of really being engaged and experiencing things, because that can be scary.
Are there exercises that people can do to get themselves there?
Absolutely. There's some really good exercises. So to give your audience one in particular is, and we've heard it before, breathe, right? To breathe in, breathe out slowly, and look through your eyes and look at what you're seeing and try to see as many different colors as you can. Right now I'm looking at a gray wall, but actually I can see quickly about 5 different shades of gray there and how they interplay because the light changes. If you're sitting outside, look at all the different shades of blue, all the different shades of green, and really relish them at that moment. And the more we train ourselves to do that every day, take 10 minutes, 5 minutes is nothing, right? Take a few minutes every day and do that to train your mind, because these are habits that are formed. And this is a process that we go through, and it takes training. And that's where a really great coach comes in, because they point out those blind spots, those places where you are not living in the moment, and they're able to bring them forward.
Wow.
So one of the things I want to share is on my website. If people will go to my website, nancycramer.com, and that's Cramer with a C, C-R-A-M-E-R, not the other one. So go to nancycramer.com, and the first 10 people to sign up for my newsletter, which is the first thing to pop up, will get a free 20-minute coaching session with me.
Oh, that's awesome.
So, yeah, I'd love to have people come on and sign up for my newsletter and also look at the coaching opportunities that we have available.
And so we've got just a few seconds left. Give us the website one more time.
Nancy, Nancy, Cramer, Cramer.com, COM, in case you missed it, or if you're in London, but nancycramer.com. And we'd love to have you come and visit and learn that hope is the first step in being happy.
Outstanding. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you.
We'll see you next week.